The Ghana National Fire Service is also in the news this afternoon. They're cautioning the public to avoid the burning of rubbish and the misuse of naked lights, such as lit candles, mosquito coils, during the dry season. The service indicated in a statement that it recorded some 226 fires within 7 days in December 2020 alone. On your screens now, you have a breakdown of the figures. And let's get to it quickly and give you a sense of what's happening. So when it comes to December 2022, that's moving us into this new year. We know that 624 cases were recorded nationwide, according to the fire service. But beyond that as well, in December 2021, the service indicates that some 567 fires were recorded nationwide. That's for just December. So this is representing about 10.1% increment in terms of the fires recorded in 2022. So that's a sense of the percentage surge. But when it comes to fires recorded between just Sunday, 25th, and the 31st December, we know that as many as 226 cases were recorded. As to what that can be attributed to, we're not clearly sure about that. We'll find out shortly. But here's a breakdown in terms of what the composition of some of these, fire outbreaks are. And you see a surge in domestic fires, largely accounting for about 91 of the cases that were recorded in just the space of 7 days, the last 7 days of December last year. And you have, of course, the minority being the institutions. It goes without saying that, of course, these institutions would have been on break, so not much activity is happening in there. Lots of people moving into their homes and communities, a reason for which you'll be seeing domestic fires being on the rise. But for bushfires, we have 2.5 and 3.5 cases accounting for the commercial cases. But for vehicular and electrical cases as well, they're sharing 4.5 and 15 respectively, while of course, crown and refuse dumps are also part of that mix with about 6 cases. I want to bring in now ACFO Timothy Asafo-Fum, and ACFO, domestic fires accounting for the highest. I was just guessing there that part of the reason is because of the festivities. You have more people, staying at home, and partly that could be part of the challenge, correct?
You are partly right, but not fully right. What is happening is that every year by this time, bushfires will have taken over. Unfortunately, this time round, domestic fires are on the ascendancy, leading the pack. And so there is a question for all of us to answer as to why we allow domestic fires to be happening as much as what we are observing now.
But then the Ashanti region is topping the number of fires recorded. What's happening there?
Yes, what we have realized is that there is a lot of migration in the country. And when they migrate beyond the country and they first settle in Kumasi, and if conditions are conducive for them, they remain there. If it's not conducive, they move down to Accra. And so this explains why Kumasi is always at the top. We observe that most of these incidents occur in slum areas, and that explains why Kumasi is always on top.
So what measures are we to see in the coming days? Obviously, the festive season may be dying out, but we still have a few more days for that to end. So are we likely to see some measures from the fire service?
Yes, we have rolled out a program where we are touching base with opinion leaders within these communities that we have identified. It is our belief that if the opinion leaders speak to their people, they will listen more than they are listening to us now. Because from the measures we put in place, we didn't expect what is happening to happen. And that is why we are bringing in the opinion leaders within the communities we have identified to help drum home the message to their people.
And beyond the campaign, we know that one of the key issues that came up late last year is got to do with how some unscrupulous persons are building on fire hydrants. It's one of the challenges for the service. What are you doing in that regard as well? Perhaps liaising with the local authorities to try and check some of these fire hydrants out?
Yes, I think there is an ongoing program between stakeholders. So it is between the fire service, Ghana Water, and the district assemblies. And it is our hope that this will yield result for us to clear all unauthorized structures on these fire hydrants so that we can have access to them when they need be.
You've come under intense criticism late last year as to the response time and the fact that you're not operating as an EMT as you should be doing. What's the biggest challenge for the service now?
Now, I don't think we would deliberately delay in responding to incidents. Now, there are various factors. One is accessibility to the public to get in touch with us when emergencies occur. The simple reason is that people abuse these emergency lines, and therefore those who are really in need of our services are unable to get in touch with us. And so if we all should change our attitude by not abusing the emergency lines, those who are in need will just dial and they will get in touch with the service and we will be there to respond to their issues for them. Then again, we also realize that in most cases, because fires normally start small, people think they can deal with the issue and therefore they will try their hands on. It is only when it gets out of hand that they will get in touch with us, by which time a lot of things might have been destroyed before we get to the incident scene, and they will in turn blame us. I always say that we are not magicians. You must report an incident to us before we know that there is an incident somewhere for us to respond. And so the moment you observe an incident, quickly call the fire service and we'll be there to support you and to deal with the situation for you. We don't expect that you try your hands on when you fail before you call us. Even when you can control the situation, it is important that you call us so that in case you are unable to deal with the situation, we'll be there on time to help. Then again, whether we get there and you have been able to sort out yourself or not, it is incumbent on us to investigate the situation so that we can incorporate that into our education for others not to go through the same process to bring about fire incidents in their homes. And so at times too, traffic situation, you see the siren on and drivers feel reluctant to pave way for the fire tenders to pass. And so when it happens like that, we cannot just use our car to push them aside. No, we have to wait us, and when they give us the way, we'll also move.
Personal responsibility will obviously count at this moment. And there's some safety tips the fire service is giving out for, the public to be, taking notice of even as we move through this period.
Yes. Within this particular point in time, until we get into the rainy season, those of us who weed around our homes and want to burn, this is not the time to start any burning, because the moment you start burning, the tendency of the wind to blow the embers away is high. Now, when the embers are blown, wherever they land, they will start another fire. So it is incumbent on us not to do any burning at this particular point in time, whether by clearing your home and burning the rubbish or burning your farmland. It is not ideal at this particular point in time to do so. Then those of us using electricity, One of the problems we have observed is that people put on their electrical gadgets and then tend to jubilate or going out to enjoy it. By the time they come back, disaster has started. And so let us also be careful. If you want to step out, all electrical equipment that are not meant to be on, for example, the fan, the TV, etc. These equipments are supposed to be turned off and unplugged before you step out. Again, those of us using gas to cook, it is ideal that the cylinder is placed outside so that cooking can go on. If you are not in the position to do that, then ensure that there is adequate ventilation in the kitchen for your cooking to be done, so that in case there should be leakage, because you have adequate ventilation, it will have a minimal impact. So these are a few things that I want the public to observe.
And we'll definitely be watching the space. We're grateful, ACA for Asafo Form, for joining us here on The Pulse. And we're grateful that you're able to provide us some updates from your quarters. But we're taking